Mark, what was some of the top priorities today in practice?
Just execution stuff. We had an off day yesterday, so get a little bit of rhythm back. Obviously, a couple guys didn't play the other night, so getting them back integrated. And then our practice pretty short, but got some good work in.
What would you kind of say is New Orleans' like underlying identity if guys like Ingram and Zion, some of their top line guys, are not in the lineup?
I think the thing that has been impressive to me about the times we've played them is they've got great length at every spot. They've got really good individual pride defensively. I think they all take on the challenge of individual matchups, and they help each other. And so, they're a good team. They're a team that's played us well. Certainly going to be a challenge for us to go down there.
What did you see from Trey in that game in Phoenix?
We hadn't played the last couple games before that, so it's always interesting to see how players respond to the adversity of that. And I thought he went out there and competed and was impressive. I thought he was pretty sharp.
He's had that fluctuating kind of role throughout the season. Just how have you seen him kind of handle that, and what are some of the things you guys are asking him to do on this offense in particular?
We're asking all those guys to understand their individual style of play, which is built around their strengths and inside of our system, and to play that as consistently as they can, regardless of what role they're in. If you play 8 minutes, you can play your style of play, and if you play 30 minutes, you can play your style of play. Now, that's easier said than done, but that's what we're asking of everybody. And like I said, I thought in the minutes he played the other night in Phoenix, he did that.
It seems like in general his hesitation is that gap of time when he catches before he makes a decision continues to shrink. Is that true by what you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, being able to play on the catch is a staple of our system offensively. I mean, it's a huge ingredient to the way that we want to play, which includes catch and shoots, and it also includes just quick decisions on your catches or quick decisions inside the action. So it's even if you have a live ball, when the other player's coming up to create an action with you, hitting the gas inside of those actions, it's all those things work together to create pace.
He's only a couple years removed from playing like a 25, 30 game season. Is it good for a player at his age just to maybe kind of have a break, a reset for a couple games and then, jump back into the rotation?
Yeah, I mean, you don't curate any of these experiences. I mean, we're trying to do what's best for the team, and that creates some of those things for guys. But that's why growing through your experiences is so important. Everybody's experiences are going to be different. Every team's experiences are going to be different, but you can grow from anything. You can grow from adversity. You can grow from success. And that's one of the mindsets that we're trying to train our players to have.
You seem like a pretty even-keeled person outside of basketball. How do you think that's helped you coaching?
I don't know. I think every coach is different. I think you have to coach to your own personality. I try to make sure that the game is emotional, especially for the players. They're investing so much physical and mental and emotional energy to the game that I think they're going to bring enough emotion to the game without me having to provide a lot of it. And so I think, if anything, it's part of my job to create a counterbalance to that most of the time.
Were you always this way when you were playing?
I don't remember when I was playing. I don't want to remember when I was playing. So,
is there an update on J-Dub? Will he travel tomorrow?
yeah, he's traveling and playing.
Coming out of a tough back-to-back, going into another back-to-back almost immediately, is this kind of a good stretch in terms of just testing the middle of these guys at this point in the season?
Yeah. I mean, back-to-backs are part of it. It's 82-game schedule. You're going to have, the floods, and you're going to have the droughts, so with your schedule. So you got to be able to handle condensed schedules. We just handled a pretty good stretch coming out of All-Star break. This was our first 2-week break since the All-Star break. It was 9-15 or something like that. It was pretty intense. So the fact that we're coming out of it healthy and I think pretty fresh is a good thing, and we played pretty well in some of those games.
You've talked about kind of just exploration with guys coming in, be it rookies or a guy like Daigneault. How much has his physicality stood out to you? It just seems like he's finishing a lot down low and has played with some kind of force and physicality on both ends of the floor around.
Daigneault?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a good example of a guy. He's not overly athletic, but he's a guy that's played in the NBA for a good amount of time. He's got a lot of experience and has learned the level of physicality and force that you have to bring to the game. And I think you got to remember, he was a young player at one point, and this was probably an acquired skill, just like everybody else. It's not natural to be that forceful and that physical, and that's the track that a lot of our young players are on. And I think he's a good example of not a finished product, but a lot closer to it than a lot of our other guys.
Dario said that a lot of his transition here is just playing basketball. How much, because speaking with guys and getting comfortable with them, how much of that, as a coach, do you recognize and just say, throw them out there and not try to overcoach them?
We try to have a way of playing and a way of operating that feels like you're just out hooping. I mean, at the essence of what these guys love to do, that's what it is. They want to go out there and compete together and get lost in the competition. I don't think any player wants to feel like they're constantly constrained by the system or the coach or what's being asked of them. But you also have to be organized and you got to be disciplined. And we try to be pretty intentional about where we really are surgical about where we need to be organized and disciplined and where we want to let our players rock. And I think, the fact that he could go in and integrate so quickly, I think is a good reflection of that.
Well, after I think 9 games in 14 days, how did it feel to have 48 hours of just being able to rest and practice?
Yeah, it's always good to take opportunity of having that recovery day and just focus on keep getting better every day. Just keep tapping into the rock. But, we knew March was going to be a long stretch, 17 games in 31 days. So, yeah, just taking advantage of those opportunities is really important.
I know recently, trying to have that consistent 48-minute effort defensively is what you guys have really been focused on. Do you feel like you guys had a chance to make some strides there today?
Absolutely. I think we've always done a good job this season. We might have had a bad little stretch or a game that we knew we could have done better in, and just coming back the next day and just focusing on what we need to focus on. And I think we always put ourselves in a good position going into the next day. You've
had a couple opportunities here recently where it feels like somebody will cut and then you'll kind of come in and cut behind them. We're seeing some interesting, just sort of these double cutting opportunities. What are you noticing in the way that you guys are utilizing that this year?
Yeah, I think we have a good feel for each other. So just being able to read the defenses, read each other, and just being able to have that chemistry to make those passes and feel comfortable making those plays for each other is really important. And it's been working for us, so we'll just keep going at that.
And when guys are putting that much pressure on the rim, do you feel like you can kind of get the defense's heads spinning a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Just because even if you don't get the ball in the cut, you're giving somebody else the opportunity to make a play or go score, make a pass. So it's bigger than just making that play for yourself to score. It just helps everybody out on the offensive end.
You mentioned that tough stretch. Just how did you feel personally going through that just with this group?
Yeah, you just have to keep a good attitude about everything going on. It's easy to get caught up in game to game, but you just know you have a game the next day and you just got to focus on, what you could have done better and what you can bring to the table the next game and just get after it.
Coming out of that tough home road back-to-back, you got 48 hours off and then straight into another back-to-back. Just does that experience help you go into this one, just having that immediately in the past?
Absolutely. You just gotta love it. We're here, we're doing what we love to do, and just being an opportunity to play 2 games in 2 days and play 82 games in the season, you just gotta love it.
What was it like seeing Lindy just light it up from 3 that other night in Phoenix?
That's great because you see how much work he puts in every single day, and just when he's in that position, just hitting every single shot he throws up. It's just great to see your teammate do that.
Mm-hmm.
You missed quite a bit of time. How do you feel mentally and physically, just trying to get back to where you were?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a grind getting back to the form I felt I was in before I got hurt. But, you just got to keep working and just got to accept what goes on and just, adapt and prevail through the situation. So, always, it'll work out there.
Then Mark is kind of an even kill guy. How do you think that helps you guys as a team when he's coaching you?
I think, he does a good job helping us develop every day and just putting the team in the best position to win games. We've done a good job through the 60-something games we've been going. We're just trying to finish out strong with that.
Dario's had a bunch of and ones and tough finishes around the basket. He's not like this above the rim athlete. What have you noticed about the way that he's used his frame and his physicality?
Yeah, he does a good job using his footwork, using his pace. I feel like being in a position where you're not necessarily a high flyer, being able to use your skill as an advantage really helps you out there on the floor.
Is he a good veteran for you to continue to learn? I mean, you've learned from guys like Mike Muscala and others. Is he another guy to kind of pick and choose some things from him to continue to add to your game?
Absolutely. Just everybody has a unique talent. Just being able to pick everybody's mind on what they do, maybe being able to add some of those things to your game just can help you in the long run. So it's great to have him on the team.